ChatGerry, a system-based story of organ recovery, cellular irreversibility, and survival. Number 1462, VPT Sharp 024, December 10, 2025. Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation. Category: Integrative Medical Sciences. Preface: I wrote this paper for patients, not for medical experts. After reading more than 10,000 medical papers over 16 years, I still struggle with many medical terms because I never went through medical school. If I sometimes cannot understand the medical language, then most patients will not understand it either. And if they cannot understand it, they cannot use it to save their own lives. This ChatGerry version explains my findings in simple language: why some parts of the body can recover, and why some damages become permanent. Why some damage reverses and some does not. All organs are made of billions of cells. When daily stress becomes too high, organs first weaken at the functional level. This stage is still reversible. For example, early heart strain from high glucose or blood pressure, kidney overload from long-term hyperglycemia, nerve sensitivity changes before the nerve fibers fail, retinal stress before small vessels burst. When we reduce the load, these organs can recover. That is exactly what happened to me after 2010. When I switched from 20 years of medication-only treatment to full lifestyle control, my heart, kidneys, and nerves improved, because their cells were stressed but not destroyed. But once there is structural injury, the damage becomes permanent. Examples include calcified blood vessels in my brain, dead heart muscle cells after a heart attack, brain cells killed by bleeding, destroyed kidney filtering units, permanent weak spots in tiny eye vessels. These cells cannot grow back. This is why my vascular calcification from my diabetes, during the period from 1990 to 2009, never reversed and later contributed to my hemorrhagic stroke in June 2025, a 40-year case study from my own body. My 40 years of diabetes produced 5 heart attacks, kidney disease, neuropathy, retinopathy, and finally a stroke. But my recovery after 2010 proves one key rule: organs can recover, damaged cells cannot. Heart function improved after reducing my ischemic burden, low blood flow, but heart muscle cells lost in earlier infarctions. Tissue death from blocked blood flow never returned. Kidney function improved, yet lost nephrine stayed lost. Neuropathy improved because axons can recover if the overload drops. Retinopathy improved, but scars from ruptured capillaries stayed forever. My stroke was the final expression of decades of calcified cerebral vessel damage. One emotional stress event triggered a blood pressure spike, but the real cause was 30 years of cumulative stress from uncontrolled diabetes. What VMT explains: the viscoplastic medicine theory. VMT uses physics ideas to explain the body. Strain is how much the body has changed. Stress is the daily inputs that push the body. Energy is the cumulative damage over time. VMT shows 3 truths. Systems are dynamic and nonlinear. Damage comes from accumulated energy, not one biomarker number. Irreversibility happens when total load exceeds the biomedical structural limit. My microvascular calcification crossed that limit long before my 2025 stroke. What TDA adds? Topology data analysis, TDA, looks at the geometric shape of data over time. It finds the main patterns from eigenvalues and eigenvectors, mathematical terminologies. PC1 is biggest direction of change. PC2 is secondary direction. PC3 is small but meaningful adjustments. When the body is unstable, the data shape stretches and becomes irregular. When the body recovers, the shape becomes compact and tight cluster. When irreversible change happens, the shape shifts into a new form that cannot return to its old stable state. This TDA observations matches the behavior seen in VMT. Why humans see this better than AI? AI can measure data, but it does not feel pain, passion, or survival instinct. Human brains combine creativity, memory, intuition, emotions, and lived experience. After my stroke, I immediately saw the pattern connecting biomedical stress, vascular calcification on my CT films, stroke, and my old MIT classroom lessons on how a bridge that carries heavy truck loads every day can collapse when an earthquake hits. AI would need millions of data points and samples to see what I saw in 1 second from my CT scan findings at Stanford neuroscience Professor Schwartz's office. The lesson: systems under repeated load reach a point of no return. Reduce the load early and recovery is possible. Wait too long and irreversibility sets in. This applies to hearts, kidneys, nerves, and even nations under threat, such as Ukraine. I write this so others can see danger earlier and protect their own lives. Disclaimer: I write this paper not for fame, but to share what I have learned so others can understand their health, prevent disease, and live longer, healthier lives. This content is provided for educational reference only, and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered, edited, or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights and copyrights for this article and its related materials belong to the author, Gerald C.